What up everyone, it's your boy X-Man87 here, bringing you another Marvel Legends video, and what I have for you today is the Marvel Legends X-Men Wave Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure Series Darwin action figure review. Before I get into everything, if you could please leave a thumbs up like rating on the video, it'll help show your support for my channel and I greatly appreciate it. Now with that said, let's kick things off with a character review. Let's go! Armando Munoz, aka Darwin, first appeared in X-Men Deadly Genesis issue number 1 in 2006 and was created by Ed Brubaker and Pete Woods. Armando Munoz is of Black and Latino descent. He manifested his ability of reactive evolution soon after birth, and because of it, his mother despised him. His mother was verbally abusive towards him after his father had left them and was also abused in school. This is where he lashed out on his bullies using his powers for the first time. Feeling unwanted and with no purpose, his mental health went into a downward spiral as he tried to commit suicide. However, because of his powers to adapt to survive any situation he's in, he floated like a feather when he jumped off a building. His purpose was then found as Moira McTaggart discovered him, and so he joined her X-Men Secret Second Class team and took on the name Darwin. In Deadly Genesis, the Secret Second Class team goes on a mission to save the original X-Men team from Krakoa. You probably heard me say this on my Vulcan storytime, but Darwin ended up saving Vulcan as he converted himself into energy and fuses himself with Vulcan in order to survive as the rest of his team perished. After Vulcan awakened many years later, he confronts the X-Men. Marvel Girl senses that Darwin still resides within Vulcan and uses her telepathic powers to draw him out, in which injured Vulcan in the process. With Vulcan gone, Beast examines that Darwin's remains are not only alive, but his body restored itself using pure energy that pushed Vulcan past Omega level mutant, in which Professor X pretty much classifies him as a beyond Omega level mutant. In Rise of the Shi'ar Empire story arc, Vulcan marries Deathbird and offers Darwin to be his best man at the wedding, as he's the closest thing to a friend he's ever had. Darwin ends up betraying Vulcan after learning he had trapped Professor X in the Macron Crystal, which is an ancient artifact in the hands of the Shi'ar. It's the nexus of all realities and a doorway to a universe of neutron stars. Anyways, he was able to rescue Xavier, who he considers his mentor. When Darwin returned in the Messiah Complex storyline, Darwin's father hires X-Factor investigations to help him find his son, supposedly because he feels bad for walking out on him and his mother when he was younger. After the investigation succeeds and Darwin is reunited with his father, he is betrayed by him and sold out to operatives of an organization known as the Karma Project, who experiment on living human beings. He was eventually saved by Multiple Man alongside his X-Factor team. One of his most prolific battles was against Thor's villain Hela, as he went on a mission with X-Factor to rescue Pip the Troll. The X-Factor team, with the assistance from Thor, saw Hela attempting to use her signature death touch on Darwin. Interesting turn here, because being that his abilities are being able to adapt and survive in any situation, the touch made him become a death god, or at least someone with the power of a god. With this newfound power, Darwin defeated Hela and X-Factor escaped with Pip the Troll at their side. For powers and abilities, Darwin is a beyond Omega level mutant. He has the power of reactive evolution. His body automatically adapts to any situation or environment he is placed in, allowing him to survive possibly anything. The exact nature and limits of his powers are unknown. Examples of his powers, to name a few situations, are gaining night vision in the dark, functioning gills to be able to breathe when submerged in water, fireproof skin when exposed to flames, not requiring oxygen when in space, or morph into a sponge when shot with a weapon designed to kill the subject's nervous system, and can also increase his own intelligence by acquiring comprehension of any language by looking at written samples. His powers may concern itself with more efficient methods of survival than what he chooses. A great example of this passive ability is, instead of increasing Darwin's powers when taking punishment from the Hulk, his body simply teleported him away from the fight. In other media, Darwin made his live-action film debut in X-Men First Class and was played by actor Edie Gathegi. Sebastian Shaw ends up killing him by absorbing Havoc's energy blast and channels the power into Darwin. Guess he couldn't adapt to survive Fox Studios. Now trying to cope with his new godlike powers, Darwin has appeared in over 350 issues. And that was my character review, so let's take a look at the head sculpt here, because it really looks like Darwin. I like the head sculpt, like the shape right there, very alien-like, you know, and my man's looking like the Chupacabra. But really, they did a good job with capturing the character's likeness here. I cannot complain. I could see some people in the community get creative and probably like do some fancy alien army builders with this guy. But to me, he looks like a Morlock, right? He definitely looks like a Morlock. He has that kind of deformity. And those tiny little ears, they really, yeah, they knocked it out the park with this head sculpt. I gotta say, it's a great head sculpt. Not much going on for the rest of the body. He's on the Pizza Spidey buck, and I can see he adapted to Hasbro's obsolete body molds. But all joking aside, this body mold is actually relevant to the physique of the character in the comics. So I don't see any other body mold that would be better for him. But I will say the paint apps are clean, clean, clean. Yes, they are. Not one issue here. It's a new belt right there. Rigid, painted in the middle. And it's kind of weird when you give him a waist swivel. Just like, like it just feels like his torso disappears. It's so weird because the belt is really thick. So yeah, it just makes a waist turn look really weird. But again, paint apps are really, really clean. And that's it. For accessories, he comes with 2 interchangeable hands. So here he has 2 closed fists. Then lastly, he comes with these 2 opened hands. And they're really big, very elongated, especially when you see the fingers there. The fingernails are very prominent. So these are definitely new sculpts. You get some nice wrinkled details on the skin of the fingers. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go over articulation with this guy because we've seen it 1,000 times on this body mold already. So let's just jump straight into comparisons. Before we jump straight into comparisons, I do want to show you something here because I did mention earlier that this guy looks like a Morlock. So it gave me the idea of taking the Hobo Thor body and putting Darwin's head and hands on it. Now, before you're like, oh, it doesn't fit, the head is too small, whatever. Remember, it's a Morlock. You know, they do have deformities. And I feel like this can definitely pass, you know. It's not too terrible. And if you're bothered by the neck or something, maybe put like an overlay or something that could work. So if you're trying to do some photography with Callisto and want a Morlock to accompany her, I think this would be a good background character. Just have him in the back blurred out or something to fill out that shot for you. So I think it could pass. And now for some comparisons, here is an important one I missed last time in Vulcan's review, so I'm going to make up for it here. And that's comparing Darwin and Vulcan next to their X-Men Secret Second Class founder, Moira McTaggart. I would love Karen Gillan to play Moira McTaggart in the MCU whenever they introduce the X-Men. I know she's Nebula, but we've already seen some actors pull double duty, hidden in makeup like Gemma Chan from Minerva to Cersei. With her being Scottish, she would be a natural and own the role. Just saying, what do you think? Here is Darwin next to his mentor, Professor X. Here is Darwin next to Hela and fellow X-Factor teammate, Jamie Madrox, aka Multiple Man. And lastly, here is Darwin next to his fellow wavemate and another member of X-Factor, Siren. Siren review is on deck. Alright, and now my final rating is a 6 out of 10. I know no one was excited for this character from the start, and some may never be excited for it, as he doesn't have much going on, and people may not be familiar with the character other than his movie appearance in First Class. At least, I hope I was able to give you an informative character review to let you know what he's about. Because I really recommend you guys read the 2006 X-Men Deadly Genesis and Rise and Fall of the Shi'ar Empire. But one thing I will say is that they got the look down with his head sculpt and elongated hands for accessories. Looking back though, they could have minimized the size of the eyes just a little bit. Again, the obsolete Pizza Spider-Man body is relevant for this character. Hopefully the Hasbro Marvel Legends team is working on a new slim body mold to replace this Pizza Spidey. Actually, I think the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man is the newer slim body replacement, come to think of it. But that one's not as ripped, and Darwin is ripped, so this works for me. The thickness of his belt throws the proportions entirely off when swiveling his waist to the side. It's a complete eyesore. But I'm happy to see that the purple paint apps are entirely clean, and you can never go wrong with clean paint apps. The good thing is that he'll bolster your X-Men Deadly Genesis roster, since you can add him alongside Vulcan with your giant-sized X-Men 70s team since they were a canonical addition. Once we get Petra and Sway to complete the Secret Second Class team, that'll make this figure more special because I'm all about team building and completing teams. My goal is to complete every X-Men team they put out. Now I kick it back to you. What did you think of my review and what do you think of this Darwin figure? Are you looking forward to completing the X-Men Secret Second Class team? Comment below, let me know, we'll chat about it. That was my review. Please follow me on Instagram at xmanny87. Hit the notification bell so you always know when my latest videos are up. Share and subscribe if you're new. Enjoy the pics at the end of the video. See you on the next review. Peace.